Welcome. This is Brian Johnson. Welcome to my Monday night training. And hopefully you have seen the videos that I have posted the last couple of days, because we're talking about a very interesting topic tonight that I think that you're going to find super fascinating. So if this is your first time here, just type a yes. And if it is your first time here, I appreciate you. My invitation for you is to be open-minded to what you find tonight, because I share some information that may be a little out of what your known reality is, and that's okay. What's up, Tyler Brown? So, welcome. Replay viewers, welcome. I'm looking forward to connecting with each one of you. If you have not been connected with me before, the best places to connect with me are on thinkgreatloseweight.com. Hop on our email list so we can serve you with the replay videos, so we can serve you with the other videos that we put out. And we appreciate you. Next thing, you will be shocked and amazed at what I'm going to share with you tonight on literally how you can burn body fat faster, how you can save $200 to $600 a month in food, how you can eat less food, you can cook less food. You literally will be much more efficient, I like to say. So I have my computer open right now. What's up, Rachel? What's up, Sarah, Tyler, Mandy? So if any questions come through, I do have my computer open as well. That way I can connect and make sure that everyone is taken care of. What's up, Brent? So I only have about 30 minutes to cover this information, cover my information tonight. And this is something I'm super enthusiastic about sharing with you, because this specific reason. Some of you may know this and some of you may not. And here is my rendition of my experience over the last 3 years. And I have been on a mission to get myself off of close to 220 to 230 pounds back down to 200 pounds. And I am going to be very Brian with you. And that's this. I have had such a time. I literally was just thinking today that I must have probably wanted to give up at least 100 times. Like having the conversation of, gosh, why is this not working? All the time I'm putting into this. What is the deal? A lot of conversations like that with myself. And as I've gotten older in age, my body has completely changed. Like things that used to work for me no longer work for me, and things that I've never tried and done are kind of starting to produce a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. And that's really what tonight is going to be about. It's literally about sharing with you my experience that I have had moving through different things as far as different eating styles and habits, and intermittent fasting, and eating nothing but proteins, eating nothing but fruits, like really going on a journey to see what my body feels and functions best off of. And interestingly enough, I finally found something that is producing results. So for the last 3 years, I have not been able to lose a pound, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I finally dropped 10 this month with what I've been doing. So I'm coming to you with all of my headaches, all of my Edison tries of not being successful with the light bulb, into finding what works, finding the science behind it to prove what it's doing, which is what I had a lack of prior to. And I had a lot of people who were always talking about doing it, yet none of them had a body that I desired to have. So I took none of their advice, and I decided to do it on my own, figure out the hard way, figure out what works, what didn't, get some professional consulting from a few people that were really helpful and really integral in helping me to find the equation that worked for me. Because it doesn't matter who you are, not a one of us is alike. And it's important to understand that in order for what I'm talking about tonight to work for you, you get to figure out what that looks like. Nobody's the same. Our activity levels are different. Our basal metabolic rates are different. Our genetic codes are different. Our lifestyles are different. Our goals are different. So finding the combination of what works for you is really going to be very important to understand how to be successful. And I'm not talking about just for going on stage for one time. I'm talking about looking at life as a stage and saying to yourself, why look good one day when I can look good every day? So if you are interested in hearing the information that I'm about to share with you, just type a yes in the comment section and tell me what you're most enthusiastic about hearing, because I am also enthusiastic about what I'm going to be sharing with you because of the experience that I've had, and most importantly, how I'm going to get to share it with you so you can use it for yourself if you would like to. Okay? So, like I said, I've got about 30 minutes to do this, and here's my only outcome and my only request is for you to please share my broadcast. I'm on a mission to serve 200 million people by the time that I am dead and gone. And that means that I get to do that by serving you ultimately first, and you seeing enough value in what I share to share it to people that you know and people that you love. Awesome, Spencer. So, I have my computer open. I'm looking at comments, seeing what you have, and it's amazing. That's right. Spencer, what's up, buddy? So, all right, so let's get to work. What's up, Elba? Yes, you lose body fat. What's up, Ian? Audrey Nicole? Yes. What's up, Linda? Awesome. So, let's get to work. Actually, let's have some fun. Work so much is not, it's work for me. It's not work for me. It's fun. It's no work. Okay, so I have a ton of notes. Like I literally went on a rampage today of notes. So I have some stuff I'm going to start sharing with you. So let's get into business. Let's talk about what's actually going on. And let's actually talk about what fasting actually is, because you may not know. So let's just start from the very basic concept. Fasting is going extended amounts of time with no food. 6 hours, could be 12 hours, could be 24 hours, could be 48 hours. There are some people who fast all the time. The secret is finding what works for you. And understand that the scientific research backing the outcomes and the effects of fasting is so much so that it is in your best interest to figure out how to make it work for you and to implement it and to execute it on a consistent basis. Okay? So here's some research backing what they've actually done with intermittent fasting. They've done studies before on rats and actually have proven that when a rat has more bouts of starvation, meaning it's not full all the time, when it actually is starving sometimes and it is hungry, those rats actually outlive the rats that were full of food consistently. There are hormones that are released each time that we eat. Mainly the one you're probably going to notice the most of is insulin. Insulin is very powerful, it's very important, and it is very costly if it is utilized and produced too much in our body. Insulin can cause inflammation. Insulin will cause more fat storage. Insulin can cause diabetes, as you all know. Thank you, Kathleen. Insulin is known as cortisol is known as the death hormone, but insulin is actually a byproduct. Cortisol is a byproduct of insulin. So understanding that when you don't have foods that come into your system for quite some time, your body is very insulin sensitive. A lot of people who have diabetes and aren't active and don't have good lifestyles and don't have good food choices, their bodies are insulin resistant, which means they have so much insulin floating around in their system, their body's like, dude, we're done. We have so much floating around in here, we don't even know what to do. That's from lack of exercise, too many sugary foods. There's a whole bunch of different things that are going on with that. So I'll get into answering questions later, Sarah. So it's important to understand that insulin is really the main component as to what we're really dealing with on a fasting level. And it's important to understand, too, that when we fast and that when you are very low on insulin, your HGH or your human growth hormone factor is higher in your body, which helps you to burn more fat on top of that, which is utterly amazing. So here's some data and some statistical information for you that I actually researched today on PubMed. So here's some facts for you. We already talked about how HGH is released when you have low insulin levels and you are empty as far as your food tank is empty. Your growth hormone levels are highest in the morning when you come off of a fast first thing in the morning. Okay? So here's what you notice. People notice an increase in metabolic function, meaning their metabolism boosted higher, anywhere from 3.6 to 14%. Now, here's the interesting part. Because when you're fasting, that means you're not eating. So what I'm gathering, and this is actually talked about in the study, is that when people were not eating, not only were they missing, a whole day's worth of food maybe, 1,200 to 2,200 calories, not only were they not eating those 22 to 20, or 1,200 to 2,200 calories, depending upon who you are, they also increased their metabolism 3.6 to 14% faster, eating less food. So it's almost like one of those things where this is too good to be true. I was like, come on, you're telling me I have to eat a ton less and my metabolism is going to get faster. I'm going to have youthing hormones that are released in my body to help me repair my stress levels, to help me to function better because my hormone and my endocrine system is functioning better. My digestion tract cleans out. I have more energy because I'm not breaking down food. And you're telling me that I'm going to increase my metabolism. That's crazy. And here's the kicker. Like, this one takes the cake. You have more of a tendency of burning lean muscle tissue eating a calorically restricted diet consistently than you do doing intermittent fasting. And I'm going to say that a different way. You conserve more muscle tissue, scientifically proven, not Brian Johnson stated and opinionated. This is scientifically proven that you actually burn less muscle tissue using intermittent fasting. That's going with no freaking food. Like, how does that work? You literally will burn more muscle tissue eating food. That's nuts. Like that. Do you have any idea the thought pattern that goes against of 30 years of thoughts compiled and experience of seeing this stuff work? It's super fascinating. This has been literally one of the key breakthroughs in my own body and my own physique, and also for some of the most stubborn people that I work with on the planet. It doesn't matter what I tried. Some of their bodies would not respond, and that's because their insulin levels are way out of whack. The only way to get those down is literally to starve yourself. It totally sounds backwards. It sounds back-asswards, like you must be kidding me. If I didn't read this on PubMed and hadn't seen my own studies and done my own data research and done my own experimenting, I would not be talking to you as convicted as I am over what I've experienced and what I've read and what I've scientifically seen through research. So that's my experience. So let's dig into this a little bit further. Yeah, Manny's got a great point. It's like God made us to be freaking amazing. So to think that we would be burning muscle tissue if we skipped a meal really doesn't make sense, because ultimately, if we're eating 6 meals a day and we turn into an asshole when it comes time to eat, we have trained ourselves to be inferior from the genetic makeup that's available to us and for us. So when our ancestors used to hunt for animals and wouldn't eat for a day or two at a time, they were still highly functionable. Maybe hungry, but they were still highly functionable. They were very agile. They were very quick. They were able to have the endocrine system to support them when they would go hunting and require those high-end hormones. All of this stuff functioned extremely well. So what this leads me to believe is that God has designed us with an extremely intelligent design. We are just now coming back to nature. And you'll notice that the fitness industry will go in trends. Like literally, in the Institute of Integrated Nutrition, we studied a minimum of over 100 different dietary theories. And to be honest with you, they all have something true about them. Every one of them has something true about them. It's just a matter of what works for you and being willing and open-minded to try different things, be open to feedback, and be willing to adjust when the data is not saying or repeating the outcomes that you were looking for personally. What's up, Tech Ninja? The most important thing you can do during this process is to check your body fat so you can see what's going on. This is very important because when people get into ketosis, like when you're talking ketogenic diets and you're talking intermittent fasting, we can have a tendency to be very acidic, meaning acid-based. If you're talking about maximizing your health, slightly alkaline is where your bang for your buck is. When you're acidic, Your body's going to cranky. Your body's joints are going to feel it. Your endocrine system is going to feel it. You're going to function less than optimal. Is what I'm talking about making sense so far? If it is, type a yes. If you have a question, keep it as condensed as possible so it doesn't take up a bunch of room, and tell me what you would like some stuff on. But alkalinizing your body is extremely important because it helps to push toxins out of your system. And one of the most important things with fasting is that it actually helps you to tap into belly fat faster. Belly fat is where we store a lot more of the ruthless, or what's the word I'm looking for? Vandalizing toxins. The more powerful, potent toxins are stored in the fat. Shannon Burnett, I used to be the exact same way. So, and that's okay because times are changing. There's new information coming out, and there's science to back actually what's going on. So give your trainers permission. Give yourself permission to forgive your trainers, because up until 3 months ago, I would have told you the same thing. And I've invested my entire life up to this point of mastering and being a student of the wellness industry. And my whole thought process was changed, like literally. And you know what? Like, allow me to share this with you. This is freaking amazing, because now instead of like when you've seen the videos about me going out of town and I'm flying somewhere and I literally have a bag full of food for 3 or 4 days worth of food, what a pain in the ass. To think that I don't have to do that, and to think I could go a whole day without having to eat anything and just stay hydrated. How amazing is that? You know how much money that saves me a month? I did the math. What's up, Anthony? If I skip 15 meals a week, which is what I would skip, that's what I'm skipping right now. I'm skipping 3 meals a day. I'm skipping 3 meals a day, 4 days a week. So that's 12 meals. That's about here's the math. That's anywhere from $200 to a month if I'm going $200 to $800 a month if I'm going out to eat. That is a massive amount of money. It's a massive amount of time. It's a massive amount of food prep. It's a massive amount of me not having to wash dishes. It allows me to take 24 extra hours a month and invest them with my family, invest them in my health, invest them at my church, working with people, investing more time with you. That's amazing. Yes, Kathleen. What's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy? And Renee Carr. How often does one fast? What's up, Jeff? So here's what I do. I'm going to share with you towards the end what I do. That way I can kind of give you an idea. So I'm going to go through the rest of my content for you. I'm almost done, surprisingly enough. And then we're going to talk real deal stuff. Whatever questions you have, write them down now, because as soon as I finish what I have planned for you, I have my computer open right now. I'm going to go back in there and answer your questions so far. So just leave whatever questions you have, and we'll dial it down for you as soon as I'm done talking about the rest of my stuff here. So remember, metabolism can be increased from 3.6 up to 14%, which is nuts, with eating less food. How does that happen? You're not stimulating muscle growth. Your body does something chemically, physiologically, that creates a change and allows your body to switch to start using fats for fuel, which is known as ketosis, which is fascinating and phenomenal that it actually happens. Okay? Subjects lost 4.7% of their waist circumference, which means that even though it burns fat, it burns more fat towards your gut line or towards your abdominal area. How amazing is that? Cancel. That is amazing. I stated it as a question versus a fact, right? Okay. One study showed intermittent fasting caused loss or less catabolism, which is super fascinating. You already heard me talk about this. Even though the person was calorie restricted, like sometimes completely skipped out all day long on what they were eating. Even though they were completely caloric deficit, sometimes 2,000 calories of deficit. They were not burning muscle tissue. They were burning less muscle tissue than they were for someone who was actually eating restricted calories. It does not make sense. And the data and the science still backs it up, which is nuts. Okay? Bottom line. Here's your bottom line. What's up, Kyle? Bottom line, eating fewer calories while boosting your metabolism and conserving muscle tissue, increasing your youth hormones, decreasing your stress hormones, increasing your spiritual capacity, increasing your ability to heal and repair, increasing your ability to sleep, dropping body fat, and more specifically dropping belly fat. All of this is possible with intermittent fasting. What's up, Kyle? Good to see you, bud. What's up, Mike? What's up, Travis? So I literally calculated how much money I saved from skipping that amount of meals a week, and I literally would save anywhere from $200 to $600 a month. So very fascinating. All right, we got 10 more minutes. So I'm going to go back, and I'm actually going to take questions right now. So I have my computer open, and I'm actually going to tell you kind of what I do, because even though you may be fasting, it's important to be able to dial down your food so you understand how long to fast, if you're working out and being active, when to eat, when you're working out and active, when to have your carbohydrates, when you're working out and being active, when to switch over to proteins and fats. There definitely is some thought process to fasting when you actually decide to eat, especially if you're looking to maximize your health and wellness. My goal is to get back into contest shape and to be that way on a daily basis, which is completely possible once you dial it down. Not being hangry, not being inefficient. You literally can get into amazing shape once you find the combination for you. And the key is just giving yourself permission to be consistent. And now that you don't have to eat all that much, dude, that was the hugest problem. It's like, Brian, when in the world am I going to have time to make 6 meals a day? I don't know. How bad you want to get in shape? Guess you'll figure it out, right? That's how it used to be. Or you'd have someone make your food, which most people don't have that luxury. So now the key is finding what works for you. Getting your starting data points, checking your body fat, seeing exactly where you're at, doing a fast for a couple of days, introducing some food. That's all stuff that would be more on a specific level, and I can support you with, because it's going to take someone helping you dial down your nutrients for you, helping you to fit it into your lifestyle so that it works for you, because everyone is different. There's a multitude of different ways you can do intermittent fasting. Here's what I do. I work out with weights, meaning body weight exercises, 3 days a week. I don't do strength training. I don't do CrossFit. I do jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. That's what I do. And I lift weights, body weight stuff, very mild machines or free weight stuff, okay? I work out 3 days a week, which means on the days that I do any type of muscle breaking down activities, I have 6 meals that day. I have proteins and carbohydrates before and after I train. I have proteins, fats, and veggies the rest of the day. The following day, I will only do cardio and probably jiu-jitsu. I'll fast till 2 o'clock, which means I'll have a green vegetable smoothie, no proteins, all greens, 1 lemon in it for taste, slam it. And then I'll have water the rest of the day until 2 o'clock. For the back half of my day, I have proteins and fats and vegetables all day long until tomorrow morning. Before I go work out, I have proteins and carbs. Go train, come back, have proteins and carbs, and I switch over to proteins and fats the rest of the day. Here's what I have noticed, and this is with slip-ups too. There's some reward meals in there for sure. I usually fluctuate about 225 to 230. Like, that's a pretty normal weight for me. I got down to 213 Friday before I went out of town, which is extremely low for me. I haven't been 213 in multiple years. My goal is to get back down to 200 to 205, so I'm extremely functional, agile, flexible, and fast and quick, and still as strong as I choose to be. Figuring out what that means for you and what your aha perfect scenario is really going to be the key. My invitation to you is really this. If you're serious about your results, go back and watch my video again and just look at the information that I shared with you, absorb it, and take the next logical step for yourself. If you're not measuring your body fat, that's the first way to go, because that way you can actually tell with what you're doing is working or not. Yeah, if you want to do it in the mirror, go ahead. My mirror lies to me. I'd rather see data, perfectly honest with you. So figure out what works for you and have a system in place to start implementing some things. Maybe fast for a day, drink a bunch of water. Next day, maybe eat some food. You get to try what works for you. And I'll be glad, like I said, to support you if you require some advice, some opinions, or would like someone to hold your hand and walk you through the process and help you get there, you can do all the above. Does anyone have any questions specifically? And I'll see if I can get them open on my computer. All right, so your jug, what about I just hopped on? You may have said this. I'm a big fan of 16-hour fast. How long do you fast? A couple days, as in 48 hours. Travis, so no, I fast. I typically get up and eat in the middle of the night multiple times, so I would not say that I go fasting all the way through the night, which ideally I would. That's my outcome, just hasn't happened yet. I'm a snacker. So I'll fast in the morning from like 5 a.m. till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'll have my first meal. Pretty hungry at that point, so I typically will have a solid meal, sometimes a shake, but what's up, Jax Beach, Florida? What's up, Lisa? So that's what I do on that one. Let's see if there's any other questions on here. Dun, dun, dun. I'm getting some of them on my phone, but not all of them. Let's see if I can pull them up. There's different ways that you can fast. Saying like you can do 6 hours, 12 hours, 15. You really can do whatever you choose to do. Grazing versus eating meals. I don't like grazing. Here's the reason why. When I used to graze, I would never get the amount of food that I needed to support my muscle tissue and what I was doing. So it didn't make sense for me. In my opinion, when you're grazing, well, you know what? Here's the deal. I mean, there's different ways to look at it. If it works for you and you're checking your body fat and grazing works, then awesome. I don't really like grazing because all it does is make me a little unhungry. Unless I'm fasting, if I'm fasting and I require something to eat because I'm hungry, then I will just make a vegetable smoothie or something like that. All water, greens, cucumbers, a bag of frozen greens. I'll put a lemon in there for taste, but that's really it on that one. If you like snacking, then it's fine. Dun, 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 dun. 16 hours gone for optimal hormone benefits, resets, stress, anals, just yes. Favorite way to measure body fat? I have a couple of different ways. I have one of these. This thing's alright right here. I have a Sculpt. This thing right here I can put on my arm, bam, across my chest, and it links up to my phone. So it measures and tracks everything for me. I like it. It's easy to do. I also have a machine that I can stand on that measures everything. And then I've got one of these. Then I have Old Faithful body fat gun, which I use this on some of my clients. I use this on myself because it's easier for me to do and I don't have to wait for people to check my body fat, which sucks. Let's see what other questions we got. Hopefully I answer questions. If I don't eat, I get a headache. That's a blood sugar headache. Next time that happens, squeeze your finger right here. Actually, that's your hormone. Squeeze this one. If it's more than like, if your head starts hurting, it's right here, it's a blood sugar headache. When that happens, take your ring finger and squeeze it like this and see if your headache stops. I used to think the same thing. I'm going to turn into an ass. Every time I don't eat, I get hangry. I can't be around people. I lock myself in the closet and say, time out. I got to eat. And then I'll call you back. I used to be that way. I seem to have made it past that. And what I did when I first started was I made fast till 10 o'clock in the morning. Ease into it. It's an acquired taste. Once I got the hang of it, I'm like, dude, I don't want to eat at all. Do I have to eat tomorrow? I had to make myself eat the second day because I started dipping into too much muscle tissue with my activity levels. So I had to find that balance for me. Let's see. Any other questions? Travis, we got yours. Don't waste your time on a Fitbit scale. Agreed, Mark. Fasting, I don't get hangry. It's awesome. Yeah, sometimes that happens. So any specific questions you can think of before we part? Dun, dun, dun. I appreciate all of your input tonight and all of your involvement. Hopefully tonight, all right, so here's the deal. So here's a reply option. What are you going to take away from tonight's training and what are you going to implement in your life? It's important when you're fasting and it's important when you are eating foods. And if you are putting a type of ketosis into your fast when you do have foods, it's important to alkalinize your body. You see me drinking water? This is Kangen water. It's a 9.5 pH restructured water molecule. I'm constantly pounding water and pounding green vegetables to alkalinize my body, even though I'm fasting or using ketosis. That way your body's not so acid. It will help to repair. It'll function better. You'll feel better. Your brain will function better. Your inflammation will go down. Your hormones will function better. Our bodies function better when we are slightly alkaline. And I'm not talking about your blood for those anal people out there who are going, you're going to die. Yes, you're going to die if your blood pH changes. I'm talking about your urine pH, your tissue pH. Your tissue pH and urine pH can be a 7 to a 7.3-ish. That is ideal for your body to function like a rock star, awesome, go-go gadget, whatever you want to call it. That's what that means. All right, that's all I got. Had an amazing night. Hopefully you got some great value out of this. If there's any way that I can support you specifically, let me know. Feel free to reach out. I am actually going strong 4 days this week. I'm probably going to be doing a training tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday since Chris is out of pocket. So if you have any special requests, let me know. If not, I'm sure I will be inspired to speak or talk on something in which you will be the recipient of. So I appreciate you. Have an amazing night. And let me know in the comments section what you actually took away from tonight, or if you learned something, or if tonight was a crock of crap and it was a waste of your time. I require hearing that too. I love you. Have an amazing night. And remember, if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. Bye-bye.